and I'm the Reference and Instruction Librarian at the University of Pikeville's Frank M. Malera Library. Today, I'm going to give you a brief tutorial on how you can search one of our databases called EBSCOhost. So I'm starting out at the library homepage. If you need more help on navigating the library website, then you can check out my other video on how to navigate the library website. I'm going to scroll down to about the middle of the page, look at this section that says Research, and click on this second link that says Databases. I have another video on how you can choose the right database for you. This is going to be specifically about EBSCOhost. Clicking on this black eye next to the name EBSCOhost is going to tell me more information about what I'm going to find inside this database. So EBSCOhost has journals, magazines, newspapers, ebooks, biographies, and more. So a ton of stuff. It's one of our larger databases. So I click on it, it brings me to this list of subjects. So before I even start searching, I have to kind of choose what subjects I want to include. So I could select all of these. I usually tell students to not do that. They get a super slow response time because we're talking hundreds of billions of articles. A good rule is to stick to 2 or 3. So for this tutorial, let's say I'm looking for sources on the legalization of marijuana. So maybe I would say no to arts and language and literature, but history and political science databases maybe would work for me. So I can hit top, check the checkbox next to it, and hit top to go back up to that top list. Maybe health and medicine. Thinking about the medicinal effects of marijuana, check the checkbox and hit top again to see this full list. And maybe this sociology, psychology, social work, and criminal justice databases. So I'll check that one, and then I can go back up to the top. I have kind of 3 that I'd like to start out with, and then I can hit this yellow gold continue button, and then I get to a search page. Before I start putting in my keywords, a couple of things that I'll kind of point out to you under this limit your results section is this full text checkbox. So clicking that is going to make sure that we just see articles that we have full text access to through the library. If we don't have that checkbox checked, then we may only see abstracts or snippets and not the full text of the articles. We can request articles that the library does not have full text access to through interlibrary loan. You can learn more about that in that Navigating the Library website video. We can also go ahead and say, I would just like to see those scholarly peer-reviewed journal articles. A lot of times our professors will ask us to only include those in our research because they've been reviewed by other people in that field and they're inherently of a higher quality. I'm going to leave that unchecked for this demo search so I can show you how to do it later. So I'm going to put in my keywords, marijuana legalization. I'm going to hit search, and then we'll get our list of results. So here I have about 15,000 results. So I want to show you some ways that we can refine those results so we have a more manageable list that is super specific to our information need. So we have these limiters over here on the left hand side. The 3 I want to point out to you are source type, publication date, and subject. So we'll start with source type. Here we have our list of source types. I'm going to hit this blue show more so we can kind of see all of these. Again, I said EBSCOhost has a little bit of everything in it. So we have academic journals, we have primary source documents, government documents, books. So I want to see just those academic journals. Sometimes you'll hear us use academic, scholarly, and peer review to all kind of mean the same thing. I'm going to hit update. And that will filter out everything that isn't a scholarly, peer-reviewed academic journal article. The next way is by publication date. I can see here my list of results has sources all the way back to 1969. A lot of times our professors will ask us to only use research that was published in the last 5 years or the last 10 years. That way we have the most up-to-date information. Some information has an expiration date. So sources that were published in the last 20 years may have inaccurate information. If we're taking on a more historical perspective, then it may be okay that our sources are from 1969 or even older. So I could type in the date range that I want, or I could use this little scrolling bar. Let's say I just want to include things from the last 10 years, so 2013. I can hit enter and it'll filter out anything that is older than that. The last way is by subject. So we have the option here in EBSCOhost of subject major heading and regular old subject. We want regular old subject, and then we're going to hit show more. And so these are keywords that either the authors of the articles or the publishers have, or of the journals have said, this is what these articles are about, and have turned them into keywords to make them searchable. So this is a good way to see things or nuances in our research that we may not have thought about before, but we may also notice some things that we don't want to include. So we can just not check the checkbox next to those, but things that are looking like things we want to include, we can go ahead and check the checkbox next to those. And then we can hit update, and that will hopefully now we'll have a super specific, more manageable list of results that we can choose from. I'm going to go ahead and click this first one here so we can kind of get an idea of what the articles are going to look like. So this shows me the PDF that I can download, I can print, I can save it, and I can keep it forever. I also get like this little abstract here, which is just a brief summary about what the article is about. Sometimes that's a term that we don't really hear very often. And then we have these tools over vertically on the right hand side. A couple that I'll point out to you is this golden piece of paper that when I click on it creates some computer generated citations for me. They are not 100% accurate 100% of the time. Pay special attention to personal names, capitalization, and dates. So if I'm looking at this APA citation, it'll typically have things in the right order. This one looks pretty good, but sometimes the formatting may get a little bit wonky. So things that should be italicized are not italicized, or vice versa. The other thing that I will show you is this looks like two little chain links. I'll click on it and it'll show me a permalink. A permanent link. Other databases may call it different things, like a stable URL or a permanent URL. And so maybe we're working in a group and we need to share these links to the articles with our group members, or maybe our professor asks us to give the URL of the place where we found our research from. This is the one that we want to send to people. This URL that lives at the top of our browser is not going to work later. It's built on kind of like a session manager, and so when we try to use it again, it's going to give us an error message. So this is permalink, the one that we want to use again. So that is kind of the overview of EBSCOhost. You can reach out to the library if you have any questions, and thank you for watching.